I've been thinking that quite a few channels out there, through the context of exercise, make it seem like there's more to exercising than there actually is in terms of how dramatic it is. I've given the first example as a case which proves my point in my opinion, and it's from a channel called RNT Fitness. Now, I want to make myself very clear here. This is not a dig at their channel or any of those individuals who make the videos or who are a part of that company whatsoever. I value their word very much, actually. And I really believe this because I bought their Transform Your Body, Transform Your Life book that Akash has made. And it's something that I've been recommending and talking about since April last year at the latest. So, I'm saying all that to say it's not a dig at them personally or that video in particular personally, but more so a dig at that video style. There are many of them out there in the form of tutorials on how to exercise, for example, like that one that I've shown, and also transformation videos. This is something that I've been mentioning actually, and I mentioned it in the 1 year transformation journey video, in which, in the disclaimer, in which I said I didn't want to make a video which was like 1 minute long because I put 1 year's worth of effort into what I originally called a body transformation journey, but then called a life transformation journey, because I don't think it accurately represents it in this context, exercise. And this is something that's extremely basic in my opinion. Most people can find it at least fairly easy to go into the environment they'd want to exercise in and exercise, even if it's to do 1 rep. If we're taking away the potential idea of anyone saying, well, I don't exercise because I don't have the time, those rubbish excuses. Even if someone were to have kids, for example, no one's so busy they can't do one singular push-up rep. And I'm not willing to hear anything else. I'm not willing to hear people say no, they can't even do one singular rep. They'd just be making an excuse to say that they quote unquote don't have the time to exercise. Something that I obviously don't agree with, in depending how long the sessions are and depending on how willing people are to go out the way to exercise, regardless of what they've got going on in their life, like raising children. Now, I'm not here to talk about people working around exercising with their kids, so I'm going to bring it back to the main topic of the video. I think that there are plenty of videos on YouTube and maybe even other social media platforms in which people make the art of exercising seem more dramatic than it actually is, through unnecessarily loud music for one, 2, extremely short transformations, or extremely short videos that aren't really representative of how much it actually took to get to where they were in, for example, the period of 10 years in a 10-year calisthenics transformation video, for example. And it's something that I've been disliking from, as far as I'm aware, that 1 year life transformation journey video that I've made. And even before that point, I was disliking it because it's not in any way, as I've said, it's not in any way, in my opinion, representative of what it actually takes to get to such a point where you've put in 10 years worth of effort into something and you have completely changed your way of life, potentially, and for the most part, completely change how you go about life and how you think as a person, how you carry yourself as a person, for example. there's a lot to this. This is quite the unscripted video, so there's probably a lot that I'm missing out when talking about this, and I apologize to myself if I've gone off topic quite a few times without even realizing. Seeing as this is a one take, basically completely unscripted video outside of the notes that I've got here with me, I apologize to myself for that if I've gone off topic. Anyway, I think if people have watched a whole load of calisthenics videos, for example, you can see, like, I think it's just too much. I understand that having music in videos can help with engagement, but for me personally, I'm not willing to sacrifice giving quite an unrealistic representation of exercise just for a higher view count, something that I can't control. And speaking of, just because a video has X amount of views, dislikes and or likes, doesn't mean that the video is any good. Just like how it doesn't mean that the video is terrible. There could be a video out there that's based on exercise, which might have millions of views, for example, but could have a lot of misinformation out there, or just straight up lies, maybe even both. That's why I say that. And I don't need to have proof for people to understand that that could happen, and that could be the case. I personally would like to carry on doing what I've been doing, which is to give at least a fairly honest perspective of what it's like to actually be doing what I'm doing in terms of exercise. And I would like to imagine that the videos that I'm making are more accurately representative of what it actually takes to get to where I'm at in my journey, regardless of what other people are doing. Honestly, I was going to say compared to other people, but no, not necessarily. For me, it's not a matter of wanting to not be like other people, but instead just wanting to show honesty, not only on the channel but in my daily life off the camera as well. To me, I think beyond all of this talking that I've done so far, it genuinely really is that simple. I value honesty, and although that video, this R&T fitness video that's at the top here, the first link, isn't dishonest, I think it's just this video style. Again, I'm not digging at their channel. I'm not making a dig at their channel. It's just over dramatic. And it would be nice, in my opinion, for me to be one of many who, like with the second link, for example, don't have a whole load of music in the background and don't unnecessarily or aggressively go out their way to get engagement and to get views. But then again, if we're talking about R&T fitness in particular, as far as I'm aware, it is a business, and more views, more engagement means at least more likely to get more profit. So, which obviously could help their business in terms of resourcefulness and what they could provide to their clients, both offline and online. So it does make sense as to why they in particular would do that. But it's just something that I wouldn't want to do, and it's something that I dislike seeing over and over again on the feed. And then again, I could say to myself, and other people could say to me, it is up to me to not watch them, and I definitely agree with that. But just because it is my choice as to whether I watch such videos doesn't mean that I can't dislike it. Right, I think I'll end it there. I'm starting to get a headache. It's just something that I wanted to talk about, and although this might not be the first video, or although this might not be the last video I make, which I don't have a problem with, honestly, I'm using this video as a starting place to really uncover this topic and work through it, because I think, in my opinion, it definitely is going on. It definitely is happening where people are, if we're talking about, for example, a self-improvement space through the context of exercise, and they've got a whole load of music in it, and they're going out their way to make it as aggressively engaging as they possibly can. It's just to make a video that people in the comment section would say they think is motivating. They're just making, in my opinion, people who make such videos are just making it seem like doing such things or doing what they want to do on a daily basis is more than what it actually is. Such videos, in my opinion, are so misrepresentative of its reality. Extremely misrepresentative. Some people, then again, to counter that point, some people might want an external burst of extrinsic motivation. And what's wrong with that? I could say, and then I'd counter that by saying I think it's rather misrepresentative of reality, regardless of the short-term effect that it can have on people. It's just not. They're making it seem like it's more than it actually is, as I've been saying over and over and over again. So I think on that note, I'll leave it there. This idea is definitely something that I would talk about maybe later, as I just keep on making videos over and over, day by day. As I find more examples, maybe it's just, yeah. If you go onto such a link, the first one in particular, you'll see what I'm talking about. When I think it's just like the music and all the screams and that is just, it is too much for my head personally. Whereas the second one, the video of Hannibal working out, is an hour-long session. That is definitely more up my alley. And I'd like to imagine that I'm not talking about the first link to the video in that specific video style because I, for whatever reason, feel jealous that they might be making more money than I am. I have very recently just got my universal credit check, to be fair, and I definitely do have issues that I need to solve in my life from a financial perspective. And I'd like to imagine that I'm not talking about this video style for that reason, because I, for whatever reason, feel jealous that R&T Fitness in particular, in this example, have more people watching the channel than me. I mean, I'd like to imagine that that's not the case, even though I really don't mind not being viewed by many people for the sake of my own health and safety. But yeah, these are just my thoughts for now, and I like to imagine that if I do make a video on this topic again, I'd have more examples than just this. However, this is as I've said, definitely a starting point. But I'll leave it there. I'm done talking because I'm just repeating myself. So that's it. That's the end of the video. And I actually don't mind that I spoke about this. And again, I have got out of my way to make it very clear that this is not an attack at R&T Fitness or any other channels in particular that make such videos, but more so the video style and maybe why people would want to make it. But anyway, I'm going to leave it at that. I'm done. If I do want to make another video on it, then I will. But that's it for now. Cheers to speaking up on things that I want to speak about, regardless of if people disagree with me. Peace. This is my opinion. In my opinion, you don't have to follow it, and you don't have to like it. But remember, I am human too, and I haven't gone out of my way to abuse people. So if you go out of your way to say hateful comments, I might just go and delete them. I shouldn't have to deal with that stuff just because I have an opinion that people might disagree with. Peace. Basically, what I'm saying is, just because I have an opinion that people might disagree with doesn't mean that I therefore don't have the right to experience a basic level of respect from person to person. Yeah. Anyway, now I'm really gone. Bye.